right, everybody. I just got back from seeing The Boys in the Boat, and my God, when I say this is an instant classic, it's an instant classic. Joel Edgerton plays an amazing role, and then you're coupled with Callum Turner, who is the star, I guess, so to speak. He does an amazing job. Weirdly enough, he kind of looks like Richard Gere when he was younger, but that's not the point of this. The point is this movie is amazing. It's a great holiday film. I'm surprised not a lot of people are talking about this film and I think it's being overshadowed from like movies like maybe Aquaman 2 and the Iron Claw. But this movie is really, really good, and I implore everybody to go see this one. I have a little bit more to talk about, so with that being said, let's get into it. Here we go. All right, everybody. The Boys in the Boat, starring Callum Turner and Joel Edgerton. There's tons of other people in this movie, but really the focus is on them two. Right off the bat, this movie is great. It is so good. I wanted to cheer. I wanted to cry out of happiness for them. I don't know. I think this is based on a true story. The reason why I say that is because it shows actual photos at the end, but at the very beginning it just says based on the book by so-and-so. I'm pretty positive this is, and people are gonna say, Smat, you should have done your research. Again, I don't go home and prepare. I come home right after the movies and I just turn on the camera and I go. So here we are. But if this is based on a true story, which I highly suspect it is, this was awesome. How true it is to the real story, I don't know, but this is really, really, really fucking awesome. Now, to me, there are some issues with the movie in terms of pacing, but it doesn't take away from this movie at all. Like I said, I wanted to cry at the end. I wanted to cheer for them. This movie does things that old movies used to do for me when I was a kid growing up, like movies like Rudy, Forrest Gump. What else? Miracle. I know that's a little bit of a, in terms of range from like Rudy and Forrest Gump, that's a little bit more modern. But there's a style of film that's not really being made right now, and it's this style of film. Last year around this time, I was watching Violent Night, I believe it is, and I was gung-ho about it and saying that I'm here for the violence and Christmas and all this stuff. Well, these movies also need a place to like these kind of movies, and I'm happy that it's being worked on still, because it's a little sad. It's a little sad that the experience of going to the movies, the smell of popcorn is kind of going away, and the reason why I say that is because people my age grew up in, I guess, not so much the golden age, but there was a different feeling that you got when you went to a popcorn, went to a movie of popcorn. When you went to a movie and you came out of it just loving it, like movies like Powder, these kind of movies that just make you feel. Now it's so hard to catch people's attention for 2 hours like this movie was, and it's just hard for the youth to kind of appreciate these kind of movies now, and this movie really does not feel like 2 hours. It's great. The performances are amazing. There are times that you just really feel for this guy. Callum Turner, like I said, does an amazing job as Joe Rance. There's really nothing that you can say negative that really impacts your movie going experience. The only thing, like I said, was probably pacing in this movie. I really wish that they focused more on this. And mind you, I didn't know it was going to be directed by George Clooney. Kudos to Clooney. But again, the pacing was just a little bit weird. I felt like if they would have spend a little bit more time on some of the aspects of this movie, like if they really kind of honed in on him being poor, I guess, for lack of a better term. He's literally sleeping. Joe Rance is literally sleeping in an abandoned car, and he has a lantern, and he's studying to be an engineer, and he really just tries to go on this team reluctantly because he needs money. He needs a way to pay for his schooling, and this team offers pay and a room. So he does it out of that. And in this time period, I think it was set in like 1936. In this time period, that's what people did. Like, they did things out of survival. And it just so happened that this ragtag group of people that were going to this university, they banded together out of selections, from tryouts, and they ended up, succeeding in many ways that, people would just run away from. And I think that one of the overarching themes in this was that, right? Overcoming a lot of problematic situations because of survival. Like, many of us would just be like, all right, cool, right, nowadays. But if we were really up under the gun of survival, we would just, practically do what we needed to do in order. And that's what this movie does. The other overarching theme is teamwork. It's obvious, right? Like, you need to be synced, you need to be, rowing together in order for you to actually win something. And at the end, there's a quote that guy says. What does he say? I think the little boy asks him, did you like rowing in an 8-man team? And he stops and he says, like, we weren't 8 men, we were one, something like that, right? I'm paraphrasing because I don't really remember, but that was really the theme, the bigger theme out of all of this, because every individual person in this rowing team could have been, better by themselves, but it wasn't about themselves. It was really about what they called the shell, which is the boat that they row in. And that, like I said, that was just like the biggest overarching theme. And this movie was just simply amazing. I really recommend that people go see it. It'll really, if you're like me, it'll really take you back to those days when you would go see a movie, like I said, like Rudy or Forrest Gump, and you're just gonna appreciate it. It's really an instant classic. It really is. I mean, I can't say too much about it without giving stuff away, but I'm gonna give this probably a 9 out of 10. It's right up there with Iron Claw. I think I'm not gonna put those two movies in the same category because one's a tragedy and this one's really not. It's more uplifting and inspirational. But at the same time, both movies do something that other movies nowadays are not really doing, and that's giving you a great experience at the movie theaters and basically, focusing more on the story rather than graphics and things like that. I'm not really gonna touch into the graphics and all that good stuff, but all you really need to know is the story was amazing, acting was superb, the music was just, amazing as well. I mean, everything about this was pretty solid. So go check it out, guys. The Boys in the Boat. All right, that's gonna do it for me. This might be the very last video for 2023. With that being said, guys, I wish everybody a happy new year if I don't see you again. But then also, let's ring in the 2024 year with some love and positivity. So keep spreading that love, guys, and we'll catch you next time. Later, guys.